Hey, Ethan.
Hey, Gage.
I know how to get maybe our engagement up on this channel a little bit.
I think so too.
Cooking with Kai.
I thought we were...
I mean, we're on the same page, right?
Cooking with Kai. Cooking with Kai.
Man. It's the Are We Recording Boys. And we are back with another podcast episode. And it is the long-awaited GNX album review we have been promising you for weeks. It's the young Rottweiler, Ethan Hamilton. And I'm 007 Gage Sutton. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And again, we've been wanting to get this album review out for a while. So excited to get to it. But before we get to all that, make sure y'all are subscribing. Make sure y'all are following us on all the socials. They're going to be linked down below. And make sure you're checking out. If you're a sports fan, we're doing an NFL predictions video every week. So go back and check some of those out. I think they're really funny. You can see how some of our takes have aged, and let us know in the comments of our Instagram, of our YouTube videos, of whether we're idiots and we know ball or not. But you got anything for the people before we get right into the Kendrick?
Well, I was going to say is now that it's getting close to the end of the year and close to the end of this season of AWR podcast, I just want you guys to know that we're going to be doing our annual AWR awards coming up within the next week or two. It will be out here on YouTube. So make sure to comment what kind of awards you want to see us do this year. I know last year we did our White Boy of the Year. We talked about our favorite albums. We talked about our favorite moments. And this year we have a pretty cool idea about how to get the some of our guests involved in what we have planned for the award. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. But let's hop into our GNX review, Gage. Man, what an album. What an album. It's been roughly, would you say, like 3-4 weeks now that we've had it been able to sit with us. So I want your initial thoughts. Like when you saw that it dropped on like your DSPs on your phone, like in the middle of Friday afternoon, dropped at like 11 o'clock.
Friday. Yeah. Well, it's so funny, dude, because we had literally recorded an episode with Jairus the night before, and we had talked about Kendrick, like, oh, I wonder when he's going to drop. I wonder when it's coming. And then Friday morning, you text me and you're like, Kendrick dropped. And I was like, what? Check the Apple Music, whole new album. And first off, the first feeling I got was we just got a new Kendrick album. This is exciting. Like, regardless of what you've thought about Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers or what you thought about Damn, I feel like when those albums came out, it was a moment. And I feel the same way anytime Kendrick drops. And that was the same case with GNX, man. The first track, oh my God, dude. We get right into the shits with Whacked Out Murals, bro. Right into the shits. And Kendrick does not let up the whole project. I fucking love it. I personally think it's so much better than Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. And it's honestly aging. It's going to age so well, in my opinion. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass early, but I've really enjoyed this album. I think there's a lot of replay value. Kendrick has some of his most hard-hitting bars, moments. The production and samples he used, art, like the features too, just putting on a lot of local California artists. It was fucking awesome to see, man. I was really impressed.
Yeah, I remember just being at work, right, and scrolling through Twitter, and I saw the preview for GNX. I'm like, oh, he dropped another teaser. This hoe is hard. This hoe is hard. Like I'm was it the Body for Body snippet? I was like, oh, this is hard. This is hard. Then I'm like, I'm just chilling there. I'm like, okay, I'm listening to it. I think I listened to it like 3 or 4 times snippet. I said, okay, cool. That was that. Close my phone. Then something clicked. I was like, all right, let me go back to scrolling because I'm bored here at work. Then I saw somebody had posted, did Kendrick just drop an album? And I was like, ain't no way he just did that. Open my phone, legit. Probably like the album dropped at 11 o'clock. I probably 11:04. I looked at my phone and I saw it was there. I said, bro, I called you. I called my brother Ian. I texted Jairus. I told Travis. Like I stopped doing everything at work just to do that. And luckily, the good Lord blessed me, and I had no customers, no nothing. So for like basically 25, 30 minutes, I'm just listening to the album as everyone else was. And dog, I guess we can go track for track and talk about our favorite moments on the project. But you mentioned Whacked Out Murals, and I loved it, bro. Like going into this project, the expectation I have for the Kendrick project, because we all knew we were going to get one at the very least before the Super Bowl, right? I thought we were going to get one in 2025, much closer to the Super Bowl. But having it now, I'm totally fine with. And with Whacked Out Mirrors in particular, like the energy I wanted from this album was I wanted a victory lap. Kendrick had his best year prior of his career commercially, at the very least. He was a part of the biggest moment in hip hop this year, really the last 10, 15 years, with this beef with Drake and everyone. So going into this project, what I really wanted, at least the feeling I wanted something very inspirational and uplifting. I know that it's kind of like vague, but the best way I could put it is I wanted a victory lap. I want Kendrick to enjoy his flowers and really, really be able to soak in this moment. And that's exactly what we got. We literally got, in my opinion, it feels like a love letter to the West Coast that Kendrick did. Like, you know what, West Coast, thank you for holding me down during this beef. Thank you for letting me use sounds from Oakland, sounds from LA to do what I had to do. And for that, I'm gonna make an album where I put on all the little homies. They're gonna get a feature. Anyone and everybody from LA that wanted a feature got it.
Yeah, and honestly, he was able to cook with the stuff that he normally does too, on his own, on Whacked Out Murals, on Reincarnated, and then another one that I think a lot of people are obviously going to go straight to, Luther with SZA. That's a beautiful, beautiful song, bro.
We gotta start going track by track. I think Whacked Out Murals is his second best intro he's ever done.
Yeah,
I think the only one I would say is better is Wesley's Theory. But
I don't know. I love Shireen too.
It's better than Shireen, bro.
You think so?
It's better than Shireen. And I know Damn's intro wasn't necessarily like a singy song. It was like an intro. It was like a movie intro, right? And I love it. But this is Wesley's Theory is the only one that I'm gonna put ahead of this. That's how good Whacked Out Murals is.
I don't know, dude. I do love Whacked Out Murals, but I do think about Shireen too. I met her at this house party on Melsagon. No, he was cooking, but
Shireen is fire. I think Whacked Out Murals is. And just because I'm messy, right? Who do you think he was talking about in those 2-3 parts where he took out his audio?
Yeah,
because everybody heard it. Everybody heard it. And I want to hear your take for it, because I think he talked about multiple people. I think those are bars for multiple people.
I think within the context of the album, I would look at it as probably I've seen a lot of people say J. Cole, which I wouldn't be surprised. But I think it could also be Drake, or I don't know, someone else affiliated with Drake, someone who's like still on his side, quote unquote, I guess. But I definitely see J. Cole being a very likely recipient of that censored bar.
Yeah, no, for me, I think J. Cole definitely got some bars. The way I see it, right? The whole theme of the track is, like I said, he's very fed up with, and it's not really, that song is not really about Drake. It's more sort of people around him and the people in the music industry that still fuck with Drake, and or the other side, quote unquote. And so it's more so about the other side and not Drake, if you get what I'm saying. So that's why I think he was definitely talking about Cole. I think that whole last verse, the pardon me, the whole part where he's kind of talking about the not the last verse. Well, it's the part where he's talking about where he's not dissing Wayne, but dissing Wayne. I think that whole part is about J. Cole, is an indirect shot to J. Cole when he kind of said the let Lil Wayne down, and then references Nas the next line. It's not a coincidence that he does that when J. Cole got the song Let Nas Down. Like, it's not a coincidence. The whole overall messaging of the song, in the way I see it, is toughen up. Like they marked my mural up, and I'm still here. I'm still saying what I have to say. I'm still standing 10 toes in whatever the fuck I'm feeling. And if you got a problem with it, or you're struggling to pick a side, well, don't worry about it. I'll help you fucking pick one. I think the whole thing is the whole song is indirectly a shot at J. Cole. Like, you're doing this whole play both sides to me and Drake. Well, I don't do that. I'll help you pick a side. And I think the first bleep, I think he's talking about Diddy. So that's my second person I think he's definitely talking about, especially with the theme of Watch the Party Die, and him talking about Lucien Grange and everything like that. And the third person I think he's talking about Ice-T, because if you remember, there was a time very towards the end of the May, June, where they asked Ice Cube, where they asked Ice Cube, yo, so what do you think about Kendrick Lamar and what he did during the beef? And Ice Cube said something to the effect of, well, I was Kendrick before Kendrick, so I know he's inspired by me, da-da-da-da. He kind of tried to take some of Kendrick's light a little bit in that moment, and I think Kendrick definitely gave him a bar.
Yeah, I mean, Kendrick definitely...
Because it goes with the theme. Like I said, he gave Snoop some bars. And I remember when I first heard that, I remember I tweeted, like, oh, Kendrick is still fucking pissed off about Taylor Made. Like, hey, credit Aubrey where credit is due, man. Taylor Made got under Kendrick's skin bad. It got under his fucking skin. The AI Tupac voice and Snoop retweeting it. And I think he fucks with Snoop. So that's why he kind of left that bar in a little more, because he found it like, all right, this isn't too disrespectful. I'm gonna just say he's off the edibles. That's why he did it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I think Snoop won't find, but even Snoop was like, yeah, you're right. I'm off the edibles. Snoop knew it was a shot. Kendrick didn't fuck with none of that. That's what I'm saying. Whenever we was talking about J. Cole doing all these apologies and him basically begging Aubrey to take him back, all this nasty stuff he was doing on Port Antonio, I told you Kendrick felt a way about that stuff. I truly, in my heart of hearts, believe that he felt a way about it.
He felt a way about a lot of things, including the Wayne thing, which you touched on. He directly mentions it on this song, and I think that's what I like about Whacked Out Murals, is like that dominance that you just hear, like that fuck everybody.
Yeah.
That's on my vibe. Like, yeah, dude, that's crazy shit. Like, he's walking around,
arrogance,
he knows,
the bravado. Yes,
exactly. He knows that he is at the top of his game, that he just took down the guy that his biggest op, and no one can stop him. That's the way that he's rapping on this album and on this song in particular. And I loved it, man. I really do. Let's move on. Squabble Up is, I think, very funny. I think his energy on that is very West Coast, very cool. Yeah,
love the music video. I love it. Yeah. I love the homage to LA and Compton in particular.
The sample's so good too.
It really is. It's a great, like I said, I think the snippet lived up to the hype. It was a great one. What's the track after that? Is Luther, right?
Yeah, Luther, and then we got Man at the Garden. We already touched on
Man of the Garden is great, man. The
great
one mic
too.
The one mic too. The one mic interpolation, the same way that Nas did that song right after battling Jay-Z. I love it. You can tell where he's getting so much of his inspiration from in this battle. Luther, I know. I got a hot take about Luther. I think Luther is Kendrick's best melodic song. It's better than Love. It's better than Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. It's better than Loyalty. It's better than All the Stars. It's his best melodic song. It's a really, really great. I think it's an S tier Kendrick track.
I do love it, but I have to give a lot of the credit to SZA for this, man. She is anytime she is with Kendrick, they cook. I mean, let's just keep it 10 toes. I'm not mad at that take though. I personally still enjoy all of those other songs that you just mentioned, and I would have a tough time trying to compare them to how much I enjoy Luther too. But yeah, man, they absolutely did their thing. The hook is infectious, and it's is beautiful, man. I love when
That's
Kendrick
great.
gets in his melodic
When
bag
they
and
go
it
the back,
works like
when they do
that.
the back and forth.
Yeah.
Woo! I loved it. I loved it.
Yep.
Next track, we got Hey Now. I've been bumping Hey Now like crazy this past week.
Yeah.
That Dodie 6 verse. I'm
Those
way
two,
too
man.
important. I'm way too important. Boy, I love that track. And I'm gonna, yeah.
Those two, Hey Now, and then Reincarnated. Those two,
I love
right back to
Reincarnated.
back. Gotta play them.
I love Reincarnated so much. I just wish the only critique I have so far from this album, or like the total of the album, I wish I had one more track like Reincarnated. Just one more introspective storytelling track like that. One more. And I would say something crazy about this album. If I had one more, because that's I love my Kendrick introspective. I love him like that. Like I said, I think he went all the way to the left on his introspective bag in Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. And the songs that he tried to do a hit really didn't hit quite the same as they did on this album. I just wish he maybe had one more track like that. But Reincarnated, the Pac flip, no complaints. Love it. TV Off, Lefty Gunplay, Murder his verse.
Yeah.
I think TV Off for me sounds like Not Like Us Part 2. That's the vibe I get from it. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was a leftover beat for, that he was thinking about using if the beef continued. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a track on there. Dodger Blue has grown on me. Not my favorite track, but I love the chorus.
Peekaboo and the Heart Part 6, though.
Yeah.
Hey.
The Heart Part 6. What a great ending to the Heart series, where we finally get Kendrick. Like, he's being introspective on this track, and he finally gives us the answer to why we never got a Black Hippie project. He owns up to it. He was like, it was me. I just didn't want to do it. I had creative differences in how it was going to come about, and I'm the one that pulled the plug on it. And he just talks about him at least a little bit. At least how I interpret it was, it wasn't just like a story about why Black Hippie, but also why he left TDE.
Yeah.
Was, just creative differences. And I'm proud of the fact that we kept everything in-house, because whenever Mr. Morale dropped and he announced that this was his last project on TDE, and then there was nobody from TDE on that album, I told you it was weird. I told you it was weird that nobody was on there, especially when he was having Summer Walker, when he could have easily had SZA.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the signs are definitely there, and the fact that he addresses them on this song too, I'm with you. I think it's a great ending to this series. And do you think it's better than Drake's Heart Part 6?
Come on, what kind of question is that? What kind of question
well,
is that?
I have to ask, because we will be talking about Drake and his he filed a lawsuit, and we will talk about that, But
Yeah.
we got a couple more tracks to talk about, and it's the last two of the album. It's GNX and Gloria. And I really love the way Kendrick finishes the album with Gloria. It's an awesome track.
The symbolism for it being his pen and his girl, the double entendre with that.
It's so.
And then SZA absolutely kills it again on that track. What a duo. I love I'm so geeked that I got tickets for the concert. I'm so geeked I got tickets for that concert. But I also love it from the aspect of, like, what's the track off Mr. Morale with him and Sampha that I love so much?
Oh, it's
Father Time?
Father Time.
This sounds like part 2 to Father Time to me. This is what it sounds like.
I could kind of see that. But overall,
I love this album. GNX 2, I got to shout out Hitta, because I love his verse. I love the beat. I just think it's a little too long. I love Peso and Hitta's verse. Young Threat wasn't really for me. A little too long on the track, but I like GNX. But great album, man. Great album.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's got a lot of the things that you need for a classic hip hop album. A amazing start to the album with the intro, and then like just hit after hit after hit, and a great ending to the album. You've got a little bit of everything too. You got some melodic stuff. You've got Kendrick rapping his ass off. You've got him with crazy production.
And on this album, you could tell the money behind this.
Yeah.
And I was saying,
this is the pre-Super Bowl, man.
That's what I'm saying. If this is a part 1 of a part 2 project, which I think we're gonna get either. I know we're gonna get a deluxe. All the TDE people have said we're gonna get a deluxe to GNX, and so whether it's another like double album, like how Mr. Morale is, or it's just gonna be 7-8 tracks. The production on this album, man, is one of the most well-produced albums I've heard. You can hear the money behind it. Like from the samples, you're like, oh, that was an expensive sample to use. And the different producers that he has throughout it, having Jack Antonoff, having Soundwave, having Mustard, like all the different, the Tupac, like this album was expensive and you can hear it. And it was worth it too.
Yeah. Absolutely. It was, I think, what Kendrick needed for his creative vision heading into the Super Bowl. I'm really excited to see what he does with that. And GNX is just a little preview, man. And a great album overall. Interested. I think I'm going to let it grow on me a little more before I ask you where it sits in his discography, because I feel like his discography is so good and so deep that like everyone's got to take some time to like sit with the whole discography as a whole before we can really start having these discussions of, is it better than Damn? Is it better than Good Kid, Mad City? I don't know.
You better not say certain things.
I know exactly. I'm not gonna say crazy things like that because I still think it's too early. But so shout out Kendrick for this album and for the Super Bowl. But someone who's not giving him his flowers and is a little salty about how he's getting to these places is Drake. Files a lawsuit against UMG for supposedly increasing the streams of Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. E, what do you think about this as a whole? How do you think this looks, or how do you think this looks on Drake's part?
Well, first off, it's not a lawsuit, right? He hasn't started the lawsuit. It's a petition. So it's basically, from what I understand, it's just an inquiry of like beginning the process of maybe suing UMG. And it's in 2 parts, like you said. The first one was overall just suing UMG or petitioning UMG because they allowed Kendrick and his people to basically get a better rate on promoting their songs throughout the beef, which I understand, right? That is malpractice. So I understand that part. I just think the optics of it look terrible because Drake, you complaining about this and petitioning about this to UMG is hilarious.
It's
I explain it. It's the pot calling the kettle black. But I'll keep going. And then the part 2, like you said, is him petitioning UMG for not stopping Kendrick calling him a PDF file on Not Like Us, which I think again is another the pot calling the kettle black. And I think one thing we have to make really, really important with Drake maybe suing UMG is the fact of let's not make Drake a martyr. Let's not do that. He isn't some activist for independent artists. He doesn't give a fuck. I promise you he doesn't give a fuck. Because I don't believe he goes through all this if he loses the beef, if he wins the beef with Kendrick. Drake does not do all this stuff if he beats Kendrick in this beef. He does not sue UMG. So let's get that out the way, right? We can see it from 2 point of views. We can want Drake to win this lawsuit because I think if Drake ends up suing UMG, it's gonna air all the dirty laundry that UMG has been doing, as well as him. Because the same way he's insinuating that UMG was helping Kendrick, you don't think for the past 10, 15 years, UMG hasn't done the same for him in comparison to all other artists?
Oh, absolutely.
Giving him better rates, giving him payola to get more airtime on the radio and on playlists like on Spotify and such forth. Like, let's not get shit twisted, bro. Like, Drake is only doing this because he lost the beef.
Yep.
And now that they've kind of found their new cash cow, quote unquote, in Kendrick, he's upset about it. That's really what this is. Which is okay. Yeah. I think if the outcome of this is that UMG is now having, and these record labels are now going to have to be regulated a lot more and held accountable, and it's easier for independent artists to rise to the top, then cool. But let's not make Drake a martyr for independent artists, because Drake had a chance in 2016, 2018 to go independent before he signed this mega deal. But he didn't. He took the bread, quote unquote. He agreed to have, like what Kanye said, have the chains on for Master Lucian. He agreed to do that. When he had his chance to go independent and really, really make his mark from, like I said, for other artists, he chose not to do that, which is okay. It's his prerogative. But don't now, when the shoe is on the other foot and you're not receiving the benefits, you want everybody to rally behind you. Because now the optics look crazy. They look really, really bad, bro. It's as if like it's coming across to a lot of people who's not reading these articles and aren't getting educated on what happened. It's coming across that you're a sore loser, which you are, but like you're the sorest of losers. Suing in hip hop, it just looks bad on Drake's part.
Yeah, I agree. I really think that, like you said, he benefited so much. It's not like he hasn't been shoved down Spotify streamers' throats and Apple Music whenever he drops a new album. And I mean, this whole thing is, like you said, a byproduct of him losing the beef. We wouldn't be getting this from Drake if he won. So it's just kind of like he's a sore loser. He's trying to, like, I don't know, just get something out of this situation, but I don't know, dude. I really do, like, ever since he lost the beef, I haven't really been sure, like, what's Drake's next move? Like, what is he gonna do next? Because, I mean,
and I think this was his. I think this was his red button that he was all along. I think this was what I think we kind of played it that maybe Family Matters, the song in itself, and yes, it was, but this was the red button, and he just needs to. I think he should be very careful. I'm rooting for him. I hope he wins. I really hope he wins. I know it might sound like I'm not, but I hope he wins because I think it's going to benefit a lot of artists if he does win. I just want it to be very clear on how I think we should view him. And he's not a martyr. He's a sore loser, which he absolutely has every right to be a sore. He's a sore loser that maybe has a chance to do something to help other people, especially other artists. And I just think it's gonna. I just don't know how I feel about this with relation to the project he has with Party Next Door, because it's like yes, Party Next Door is your guy, and he's a part of OVO. Like he's a part of OVO. He is a part of your crew. We don't really give a fuck about you having a Party Next Door album. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna be excited. But the time to do a collab album with Party was in 2014, 2015, when Party was at his peak. When you were still like you were up there. Not saying you aren't up there now, but you was up there. That was the time to do it with Party. Now it feels like your collab album with Party Next Door is going to be a sacrificial like lamb. Because if you feel like if you don't think the powers that be aren't going to do anything and everything to absolutely throttle this project when it comes out, whenever it comes out, you're out of your mind. This is going to have to be Drake's lowest selling album of all time because nobody's going to back him from the corporate standpoint. People don't really fuck with him that much. I mean, people still fuck with Drake. I'm not going to say they don't, but it's just the combination of everything. Yeah. I just don't know how I feel about it. Him doing this to Party like that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, everything about the way Drake has moved since losing, I mean, everything throughout his whole career is what Kendrick has been telling us. But
even too, like, hey, now it explains all the drops on 100 gigs. It was a big fuck you to UMG. Yeah. It was a big fuck you to UMG to try to, and I really think he's just trying to get out of his contract at this moment.
Yeah, I'm just very confused as to where Drake can go from here, man. I've kind of lost not hope, complete hope that like he can make a comeback from this in the sense of like making music that is important again. I don't know, like, because I feel like people are still going to care that Drake drops, like you said, but there's just still this thing around him. And I don't know if it's ever going to leave, this stink on him that's never going to leave because of this beef and because of the accusations and everything. So, yeah, it's just kind of weird position for Drake to be in. And I mean, hey, he made his bed. He's got to lay in it, man.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's kind of what I've noticed. It's going to be, if we get this party album, right? After that, I think it's going to be a very, very long time before we get new Drake music. Very long time.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to be seeing that version of Drake where he was dropping every year or like twice a year.
Yeah.
But
no, we're definitely not going to get that. But that's our GNX review, as well as our reaction to Drake petitioning UMG. If you like the video so far, just like it already, man. Share it with a friend, share it with a lover. We still got plenty left to go in this show, so don't skip a beat. Whatever you're doing on Disney Channel, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Because next up, we're gonna have our favorite segment of the show. You already know what it is. Put you
on. It's a little,
This is
you know,
a little off.
yeah,
It's cool.
a
Though.
little bit.
It's cool. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post.
But it puts you on, and this is the segment of the show where we put you on to what we've been listening to and what we've been watching. So, Gage, you want to go up first?
Yeah, let's start with some music, man. And I don't think I'm putting on a lot of people, but maybe this is like a reminder because it was the 3-year anniversary of Alone at Prom, and I think a lot of people kind of forgot that or I guess didn't see that the Deluxe 2 has been out for a while, and there's some really, really great songs on that Deluxe that a lot of people were kind of not talking about because it's locked up and everything. Poison Ivy, I love that song. And again, Alone at Prom is Tory Lanez, one of my favorite Tory Lanez albums, and yeah, it's just pretty cool to see that it got a little bit of love on social media a couple days ago.
It got a lot of love. It got a
Yeah,
lot of love.
so
And it is a good project, even though he kind of jacked the Weeknd's whole flow on that album.
yeah,
but
for sure. For sure.
It's still a good project. My Put You On
Yeah.
for the week is gonna be a song by Draft Day called Lord Reese, which I've been rocking heavy. I know we haven't heard too much of Draft Day and really Yachty's whole crew ever since Yachty crashed out on Caribou on an IG live, and that was kind of the quick and grand opening and grand closing of that group to a certain extent. But I love the track. Draft Day is honestly a standout from that group, and I rock with his music heavy. So Lord Reese by Draft Day is going to be my Put You On music choice of the week. And I guess for TV and movies, I'm going to go with a show called The Day of the Jackal. I've really been in my like secret agent like type flow. I think the last episode we recorded it, I put on Lioness. And if I didn't, Lioness is fire. You should definitely check it out. But The Day of the Jackal, it follows an assassin who is contracted to take a hit out on someone in particular, and you have a MI6 agent chasing him. Really, really not a crazy dope premise, but like I said, the meanest sniper I've ever seen in TV or movies. Oh, some boy, he hits this one. I don't even want to spoil it too much, but that boy nice. That boy nice. So Day of the Jackal, I think it should be on Peacock.
Okay.
I think the season finale just ended. The season finale just aired like yesterday or something like that, 2-3 days ago. But that's gonna be my TV choice of the week.
Hell yeah, man. That works for me because I got Peacock, so I might have to go check it out. But
you'd fuck with it.
All right. Well, I think my Put You On. You gave me the stamp of approval on this one and told me I would fuck with it, and I want to put the people on to new anime called Solo Leveling. And if you're into the shonen battle anime, it's like right up your alley. If you're just like me, we're the same for real. But
twin.
Long story short, this anime follows a character who has like he's lives in a video game, and every time he fights a battle, he upgrades his stats. He collects inventory. It's like an RPG. He's living an RPG game, and a bunch of crazy shit happens. It's a really, really cool show. It's only one season right now, so get in before it starts going crazy, and you can say you jumped on the solo leveling wave before everybody else.
Even though you're the last person to hop on
Yeah,
the
me
wave.
too. Yeah, I know. I'm already late. I'm already late as shit, but I think it has the potential of growing to like a grander level than what it's at right now. Because I mean, who doesn't love video games? And I just think it's beautifully animated. Um, yeah, I think there's a lot to love about that show. So I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Me too. Me too. It's a really good show. Like I said, if you're into, you worded it perfect. Battle anime, quintessential battle anime. It's hard
I think
not to
there's a
fuck
movie coming out too, right?
with. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's transition to our next topic in the show. And it's something I would love to say I told you so, man. You fake Caitlin Clark and WNBA fans, we tried to fucking tell you. So Caitlin Clark got announced as one of Time's Persons of the Year. In particular, Caitlin Clark was announced as Athlete of the Year by Time Magazine. And in her interview with Time, she talked about just overall how her season has gone with the WNBA, and it kind of reflects on her impact she's had so far in the game. And it's honestly the first time we've seen Caitlin be this candid about all the storm that's gone around her. And so she, in particular, shouts out Black women in the WNBA and how she feels like we need to do a better job protecting them, and how she will do a better job of just kind of staying out of that mess and realizing the power that she has and her voice has when it comes to all things WNBA and how that might look on Black female athletes. And
So dumb.
of course, the MAGA fans that we knew they weren't fans of Caitlin Clark. We knew they weren't fans of Caitlin Clark. They were just being fucking racist, and they were just so happy that a white girl was kicking ass and supposedly a black sport. And so, Gage, I just want to, man, we called this shit months ago. We called this shit,
Bro, Caitlin Clark just trying to give, the Black women who, paved the way for her in that sport, also showing love to the LGBT community. And all the MAGA people could see is red. That's all they saw. And she was just giving them props. She didn't, like
hit anybody against it. Yes.
Yeah, she didn't pit anybody against each other. She gave like herself the credit that she deserved for working hard to getting to the point that she's at in her career, while also giving credit to those who got her to that point. This can be a two-way street, and I think Caitlin handled it beautifully. And it's upsetting to see that there are so many people against her now, because she is really talented. She's a very good basketball player. All of that hype that she got, she even acknowledges it. She is a benefactor of white privilege. She at least she acknowledges it. Exactly. And the fact that she is just continuing to stand her ground, be herself, live by the way that she thinks about this, the way that she saw the WNBA. She was a fan of the game growing up. It was never about race for her. She loved Maya Moore. Like, that was her favorite player. So, me personally, I don't get why people are so upset about this.
I mean, you get why.
I mean, I get why, but like,
because now they're mad that Caitlin realized what they were doing.
Get over yourselves, though. I mean, like,
hella right wing conservative people were using Caitlin Clark and Caitlin Clark's image as like I said, to push their own proponents of white supremacy. That's what they were doing. And now that she called them out on that bullshit, they're butthurt about it, saying that she's too woke. It's like, no, bro. Y'all motherfuckers is soft as Charmin. Soft as baby shit. Because we all knew this what y'all was doing. And I just love the fact that she, at the very least, she acknowledged it. She acknowledged it. And seeing that crowd of people is now turning on her, and her being like, oh, okay, so this is what it was the whole time. Duh. Yeah. Caitlin, we've been trying to tell you this is what it was. And she did a really good job of, at least throughout the year, not speaking too much about, not that, but not feeding into it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that she picked this moment to sit down and really, really collect her thoughts and share them, being like, all right, like, we got to start protecting these women. I acknowledge my white privilege. I acknowledge the role I played, and I'm going to do a better job of not feeding into that shit and not letting shit slide on my behalf. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that
Yeah.
was honestly the main critique for some people was like, yes, Caitlyn, you're not saying anything disparaging to these women. You're not pitting these women against each other. But it's the people that followed you, the people that rep for you that are. So maybe you need to say something to like put them in check. And she never did. And now it was her putting those people in check. And I loved every second of it.
Yeah, I'm glad that she's kind of pushing away those people who are supporting her, and the people who are real Caitlin Clark fans are gonna stay Caitlin Clark fans. They aren't gonna leave because of this. It's just simple. But yeah, man, it's upsetting to see people think that way. And on the other side, I know I should have no say in this, but like uh, looking at the women playing basketball and the black women who are you know peers of Caitlyn in the WNBA. I don't want to tell them that they have to empower or like support Caitlyn, because I mean that's their choice. You know, if they don't like her for other reasons, that's completely right. But I feel like Caitlyn is trying to do right, and has never like fed it, like you said, fed into the racism, into all of the shit that her fans were pushing. So
Fans, quote unquote. Fans, quote
fans,
unquote.
quote unquote. So I don't want to say like take it easy on her, because like
Yeah.
there's no reason to. Like she hasn't done anything to deserve anything, but at the same time it's like we shouldn't have so many people against her. Yeah, just because I mean she's trying to do the right thing, and she's living by her beliefs and just wanting to play basketball, wanting to be the best athlete that she can be while blocking out all the other nonsense. So I applaud her.
I do, but it goes back to the whole thing of like, what's the Spider-Man quote? With more power comes more responsibility.
With great power comes great responsibility. Exactly.
And that's the role that Caitlyn is right now. And I just want to talk about the idiotic comment too. I know it's not too related to her like Time magazine post, but watching the Mystics owner basically say that, well, all of the WNBA should have got Person of the Year instead of Caitlyn. It's like, you dumbass. Caitlin Clark is the single like after LeBron and Steph, she is arguably the second biggest American sports star. Think about it, bro. Really think about it.
No,
you can't tell me anybody in the NFL, Pat Mahomes is bigger than Caitlin Clark now. The WNBA has a generational superstar from a marketing perspective, from everything. The WNBA has it. They have a legit generational cash cow from everything on the court to off. And they continue to do stupid ass shit when it comes to her, not marketing her correctly. And this Washington Mystics owner just saying that idiotic comment when I think there was a report, according to Cox sources, that whenever the Indiana Fever showed up, that attendance for that game, for those games, represented 31% of all the attendance that the Washington Mystics had all year. Again, Cox sources, I mean, like, be completely lying, but I believe that she's box office, bro. And for them, again, this is switching a little different from her fans and that whole conversation of the MAG and the right wing kind of sticking up for her when she should have been said something. But this is more so from the WNBA perspective and how they're handling. I really hope they do a better job of promoting her this second season and for years to come, because this first season was a shit show. It really was.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I will lend some credence to what the owner was saying, and I mean, it was again a lot of the things that we were saying, and a lot of the things that Caitlyn acknowledges, that she's in this position because of the white privilege that she has. And I mean, again, not only that, because of the work that she's put in, and there are a lot of athletes that maybe were as good as her and just didn't get promoted the same way. It's a problem with the league. They really need to find a way, when they have a generational athlete like this, they got to find ways to push them and make them better rather than pull them down and make them
just
harder
ego.
to market and stuff.
It's ego,
it is
bro.
ego. It really is.
Why'd you have to say that? Now is the moment for Caitlyn. If you want to talk about her comments with regard to the LGBT community and black women, yes, because I think that was a free cookie right there. When you talk about, well, the WNBA should be time person. Shut up, bro. Shut the fuck up, bro. Like,
she is bringing eyes to the WNBA. You should just be grateful for it.
Put it. Not even just that. Push that. Like, now's not the time to do the ego thing. Gosh, they're fumbling that, man. They're fumbling that.
Well,
But
hopefully they don't continue to, man, because there's still some really talent. Like we talked about on the pod a couple weeks ago with Paige Beckers coming in. The WNBA is going to be
they're in their
more
golden era
exciting.
right now.
Yeah, they really are. Like this is more exciting than like we are actually talking about women's basketball on the podcast. And I don't mean to say that like in any disrespect, but like this was something that 10 years ago people would have joked about. But now we actually have storylines. A lot more people are watching. They're getting millions of viewers now. The WNBA is really becoming something big now. And we're starting to see the benefits of it for these athletes. And I hope it continues. The league and all of the people involved with it just really do need to just continue marketing better, getting these players the, all of the shine and all of the fame that they deserve because they work hard. And Caitlin Clark is a great example of it. And
they have the biggest North American sports star after when LeBron leaves, and they're fucking fumbling it. They really fucking are. But keeping up with the theme of fumbling your stars, I just want to give a shout out to the Yankees, man. Got blasted by the Dodgers in the World Series. Oh, hold on. Let me make a little edit to that because hey, he ain't joined the Yankees. He ain't joined the Yankees. He joined. I know Yankees fans. I know it's hard to hear. I know. He joined the Mets, man. Juan Soto gave a big FU, jumped across the bridge to Citi Field, and is joining the Mets. My pops is in shambles, boy.
Hey, it's a big, but for people who aren't baseball fans like myself, what's really big about this was the number on the contract. $765 million. He is the highest paid baseball player ever. 15 years.
And he has an opt-out after 5. After 5, he can opt out. And it's the thing about this is with a lot of baseball contracts, they're backloaded. So in the years, like I said, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, usually that's when he's getting the bulk of their money because they're trying to win now at the beginning, right? Because he's probably not going to be a superstar in those years. But the thing with Soto's contract is it's all front loaded. He's getting a bulk of that money in the first 5, 6 seasons. And he has an opt out after year 5 of, you know what, if the Mets fucking suck and I don't want to be here, I can fucking opt out. I could take 300 of that, 350, whatever the number is, because it's going to be a large chunk, more probably at least half. I could take half that in 5 years, which is still insane, and dip to a different team and do another 10, 15-year contract. Woo!
Hey, again, I'm not a baseball guy.
They broke the bank for Soto.
Hey, again, I'm not a baseball guy, but when I have kids, I might put a baseball bat in my kids' hands because seeing that number is crazy, dude, for an athlete, for a professional athlete to be making $765 million.
Not including endorsements.
Not including endorsements. Yeah, exactly. All the other bullshit that comes along with it in New York. Yeah, Juan Soto, he drove that Brinks truck. Or he's driving the Brinks truck across the bridge to I don't know where do the Mets play Citi Field. All right. Well,
yeah, nice. My grandma live over there too. Ooh.
Hey,
no, but and it puts in perspective. I don't get me wrong. I know Yankees fans are screaming right now because it's like we offered it money. It's like, yeah, you did. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And I saw reports too about he felt away because earlier in the year, like his chef or his driver wasn't allowed in certain areas in the Yankee Stadium, and it kind of bit them in the ass because he remembered it now during contract negotiations. Because to be fair, Soto's been telling us all year, I'm not giving nobody no discount, no hometown discount, no nothing. And especially how the Yankees went out to the Dodgers, losing in 5 and really getting spanked throughout that whole series. You could tell that shit rubbed in the wrong way. He's like, oh yeah, these guys, they ain't serious. They ain't fucking serious.
Hey, I know the Yankees fans are sick though, and it's okay because, I think the Yankees, you've had enough success, and you don't need Juan Soto. You're gonna figure it out because you're the New York Yankees, right? Because
I guess they might.
Right.
they might not. But
They
this
might not.
reminded me because I know the Yankees fans are in disarray, and I wanted to talk about like some of our biggest sports betrayals, right? As fans, what kind of transfers or trades or free agents that signed to another team from your team or from a team that you care about that really, really hurt you in your soul? I'll start, right? When DeMarco Murray left the Cowboys
Oh, that's a good
to go
one.
play for the Eagles, I was fucking hot. I was furious. And don't get me wrong, I remember because it was around the summer of 2014, 2015, when
Yeah.
it was between him and Dez that Dallas had to sign. And the moment the Cowboys signed Dez, I knew that DeMarco Murray was probably gonna have to leave. But it was also the fact too that he left to the fucking Eagles, bro. I was so sick. I was so fucking sick when he left to the Eagles. And in hindsight, it's 2022 because we probably did make the right choice because DeMarco Murray had a good year in Tennessee like a couple years after and was solid in Philly. And Dez had like once we gave Dez that contract, he had what like maybe 1 or 2 good years left. And then we got Dak, and he was kind of made it through the Dak years and towards the end of his career. But I remember when we lost Murray. I just had a pipe dream, man. We could have kept them both. If only we could have kept. I was more mad than anything that he went to Philly. But what was some of yours?
Oh man, DeMarco Murray's a good one because I remember when that happened and Cowboys fans were sick. He was a dog. But
He didn't
I think
fucking
it's simple
fumble
for
against y'all. We would have won that game.
hey, it's simple for me though. I'm gonna switch to basketball. My biggest betrayal comes in the form as a San Antonio Spurs fan
I know.
in Kawhi Leonard. Absolutely, bro. Kawhi Leonard, I still have not forgiven him to this day. And
But what is there to forgive him for? Y'all fucked him over.
What did we fuck him over? What do you mean? How did the Spurs fuck Kawhi over?
Let's put it like this, right? I don't think
Besides trading him to Toronto after he had sat out for much longer than he needed to.
But see, that's the problem with you Spurs fans. You leaving out history, right? Kawhi's different than a lot of the other superstars y'all have. Are we in agreement?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
so when he had
in what way? Actually, in what way?
From personality and the way that he handles business.
I don't know. The thing is, for me, my belief has always been Kawhi just wanted to go home, and that's completely fine with me. If he wanted to get out of San Antonio, he didn't like being there, that's cool. But just like be straight up with it and don't make us play this waiting game where we're sitting here in a competing window, bringing in LaMarcus Aldridge, ending the Tim Duncan era, thinking this is our guy. Everyone in San Antonio in the organization thought Kawhi is the guy. He is going to be the guy who carries this organization moving forward. But that wasn't the case. Kawhi wanted out. And if he would have just been honest and straight up about that with the media, not letting his uncle do all the talking for him, then I would have been completely chill with it. It's the fact that we waited a whole, like basically a damn season to see this man play. And then like he did that. It didn't amount to nothing. He did all of that shit. And then we had to ship him off to Toronto. And again, like that's a big fuck you, right? To send him to Toronto, but he ended up winning a championship, and it's not like,
but here's what I said was, like I said, I don't think it was always that he wanted to go home. I think he wanted to go home, but also I feel like two things in particular: how his injury was handled, because now that we know that it was
and Tony Parker
opened his
coming out
mouth
and talking shit. Yes,
and we told when Tony Parker. I remember being younger, and I remember talking to the homies. This is before I knew you. I remember whenever Tony Parker opened his fucking mouth and said, "Well, my injuries that I had the season before was way worse, so I don't know what's going on."
And I mean,
are we in agreement?
Technically, he was right, but yes, you don't say that. Yeah, I'm with you.
Bro, imagine if that shit was said to you. Imagine that shit said to you. Imagine me and you recording pods, right? And you out for being a pod for like a week, right? And somebody else is on a pod. And I go, well, yeah, Gage is sick, but I was way sicker like a couple months ago, and I still showed up and did the pod. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. You would feel tight. You would feel tight that I said that.
Yeah, I mean, but like that's something that you handle as an adult and like as a teammate, and you go. But in the locker room and you talk to Tony, and I get it. Like if you're Kawhi, you're frustrated, you want to get out. But again, all he needed was one reason. With your intentions.
But my thing is, all he needed was one reason, and y'all gave him two.
I don't know. I personally don't see any reason for Kawhi to handle that situation like he did, because again, just because Tony said that, I get it. Tony is a prick. We've seen it sometimes where we've had stories about him sleeping with wives or his teammates' wives. Allegedly. But like for Kawhi, again, it was just be straight up, be honest. My biggest thing was here having to go through his uncle for everything.
Yeah.
Going back to that was just like, it was so weird still to this day. It's still weird to me that his uncle was doing all of the talking for him during this time period. And again, if you want it out,
an agent,
I guess so. I don't know what the situation. I don't know if he was his agent, but he's very involved.
He definitely played that. He
played that role for Kawhi. And my thing is, again, I personally would have just wanted Kawhi to be honest with Spurs fans, because if he would have just told us the God honest truth, he doesn't want to be here and tell us about like his experience. He doesn't want to play with Tony. Even if he said that is, hey, there's some beef with me and some teammates, me and Tony, whatever, we would understand. But the fact that he disguised it as, oh, I'm not playing because I'm injured. I don't want to play.
But now we forgot, like I said, that degenerative knee.
That's fair.
And look at the Clippers. Like I said, they haven't really.
But I mean, the Spurs were saying, from what I understand, that's part of the reason why Kawhi was frustrated, was because the Spurs were trying to sit him more. They were trying to give him time to come back because they knew about the degenerative knee. But Kawhi was insisting of like coming back too early too. That was another thing, was Kawhi did want to play I think it was like towards the beginning of the season. I can't remember, but
yeah,
I don't know. That is still Kawhi Leonard. I guess I've simmered down a little bit.
It don't sound like
a little bit. I'll say a little bit over the years. But I'm still upset about it, man. I still think Kawhi, that he's the most disliked Spur, if I had to say, for his betrayal to San Antonio.
Okay.
But
well, my guy, we're getting towards the end of the show. Is there anything else you want to cover? I feel like we went through a lot. We went through a lot in today's episode.
Man, it was a good episode. We talked Kendrick. We talked a little bit about Drake getting mad at his own labels and the media conglomerates that push his music. Come on, dude, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We put the people on.
We put the people on to a lot of stuff. Some great music, some great TV shows. We got to say I told you so.
Sports conference. Yeah,
we got to say I told you so with Caitlin Clark, and we got to vent a little bit about some of our biggest sports betrayals. But I guess that's going to be it for another episode of the Our Recording Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to like and subscribe and comment. Please comment on anything and everything that you see of us. It could be that, like Ethan used to take them fucking weak ass twists out. You can say anything. Please comment in the description down below, on Instagram, on YouTube, on whatever, because it really helps us share these episodes out to the broader world and to the algorithm. Yeah, Gage, thank you for another great episode, man. I know we're getting close to Christmas.
Oh yeah, man. It's a fun time for the podcast because, like Ethan said earlier in the show, we got our end of year stuff coming. So make sure you guys are subscribed for all of that awesome content that's coming soon. And if you like this more sports oriented content, make sure to check out the NFL prediction videos that we've been posting. And with the NFL season ending soon, I'm sure we'll be getting into more NBA content and WNBA content and stuff when they're getting kicked off and all that stuff. So just make sure you're staying tuned for all of that. So for the young Rottweiler, Ethan Hamilton, I'm 007 Gage Sutton. Thank y'all so much for watching another episode of the Our Recording Podcast. We will see y'all next time.
Whoa.